Thank you. Thank you very much and welcome to the Student University Education Webinar Season 4. Today is day 8 of the celebration. This is a 37 days live event and we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday and Saturday from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Remember, you will have new login registrations each day. So you will have to log in to a part of this free webinar. Okay. So let's start with the presentation for today. Are you guys excited about today? Each day has new challenges and we have to take that challenge positively. That's important. Okay, I don't know, basically, are you guys able to see the presentation? Yes? Okay, fine. So let's start with today. Before I start, let me introduce the company that I work for. Education Abroad Counseling Center started in Feb 2000. Our vision is to educate the youth by providing them with study abroad career options worldwide. Our mission is to help 10 lakh high school and graduate students achieve career growth using pre-application technology. We have till date counseled more than 13,500 students. Our USP is that we are one of those few study abroad counseling centers in the world that provide counseling for all countries, all levels, and all programs. Our level starts from 7th grade to PhD. We provide guarantee admission or we pay your total counseling fees refund. We use pre-application based technology to find the eligibility for you to understand whether your profile matches with the admission requirement or not. Having said that, today is one of the most important days because I'm going to talk about inner power is key to success. Let me start by, you can type in the chat box and you can tell me, are these people successful? First is late Dhirubhai Ambani. He was, sorry about that. He was basically just 10th grade pass. He was born in a normal family, average family. His father was a teacher. He was a petrol attendant and he went to become the founder of Reliance Industries. He's successful. Next is Sachin Tendulkar. He failed in 10th standard, but he is considered the best batsman in the world. Is Sachin Tendulkar successful? The next is Bill Gates. Bill Gates basically dropped from Harvard Junior College and he is the co-founder of the software giant Microsoft. He had been consistently the top richest person in the world, probably now is in top 10 rich person in the world. Is he successful? Richard Branson, Sir Richard Branson. He was basically, when he was born, as a child, he had dyslexia. He quit higher education, high school, and he is the founder of Virgin Atlantic Airlines, Virgin Record, and Virgin Mobile. He is successful. Mark Zuckerberg. This guy basically left again Harvard in the second year of his bachelor's to complete the Facebook project. Facebook, which is connecting people across the world today. He is basically also having Instagram in his portfolio, and he has recently bought WhatsApp for $10 billion something. Is he successful? What do you guys think about all these people that I mentioned? Yes? Okay. So these people are successful. Now, if you look at all these people, they all have 2 hands, 2 legs, 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 nose, 1 mouth, one mind, brain, 1 heart. They have everything that we have. God has blessed us and them with equal things. It is not that God has given these people something extra, which we don't have. So why is it that we are not successful? So we are not successful because we complain, 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 and complain. We complain about the weather. It's too hot, it's too cold, it's too rainy. We complain about the food that we get. It has more salt, less sugar, tasteless. We complain about the clothes that we wear. Probably, we don't have sufficient clothes, or the clothes that we have are not trendy, is out of fashion. We complain about the shelter, that we live in a rented house. We want to have our own house. We have our own house, but our house is small. We want a big house. My friend has a bigger house. The price to buy a house today is unreasonable. It's difficult to get home loan. We complain about the surroundings. We complain about our family. We complain about our friends, our neighbors. We complain about the environment. We complain about the food. The prices are increasing. It is 300% high than what it was earlier. The food that we eat are adulterated or they are chemical based. We complain about our healthcare, saying that hospitals are not affordable. They charge us, they loot us. The medicines that we get are basically now going in the COVID period, they are doing black marketing. So we complain about anything and everything. We are so much into complaint. So what are we giving to our mind? What input are we giving to our mind? And if you are complaining, what output do you expect? Being into counseling, I hear a lot of other things, that I wanted to be a doctor, but my parents did not support me or did not have funds. I wanted to be a cricketer, but my parents did not send me to the sports academy. I basically, whenever I start something, I'm not able to complete it. Something happens in between. Or I did a business, but I incurred a loss, so I closed my business. I don't have a good team. I have a good idea, but I don't have contacts for funding. Do you think these people did not have any problems in their life? Do you think their problems were less than what we are discussing right now? Do you think that they did not have bigger challenges than what we are discussing right now? So how did they become successful? What did they do? How did they manage? They responded to these, let's say, situations positively. Let me give an example of Saturday. I was having my talk, the success talk regarding continuous learning being important for success. And in between, there was some phone call. It disturbed me. The participating university probably was not coming, was coming. My team wanted to get my response. I was in the middle of a talk. I could not, connect. In that process, I lost my flow of thought. So after the talk, everything was over. After everything, university and the presentation, everything was over, my wife told me, let's enjoy today with a good, lovely dinner. Let's do something special. What do you think my response would be? What do you think my response would be? I said, yes, let's do it. And we had a lovely dinner. We had a good chat. We had a good laugh, good family time. Now, I could have responded to this situation like, you don't understand that I had a very bad day. You were there. You saw it. And you want that I should enjoy? Are you not bothered about me, or you are not concerned about my feelings? You know what would have happened? There would have been fight. Who was responsible for that fight? Me. Would I have taken my responsibility? No. Why? I would have said, my wife is little insensitive. Was that the real reason? No. It is how I responded to that particular situation. Similarly, in every day, we have different situations. We have different situations in our family. We have different situations in our friends, with our friends. We have different situations with at work. We have different situations at business. We have different situations in many other places. How do we respond? If we respond positively, we would be able to control the situation. If we don't respond positively, the situation will go out of hand. And then we will blame God, we'll blame our luck, we'll blame everybody else, but not ourselves. So remember one thing, 90%, 10% is what happens to your life. And 90% is how you respond to these situations. Let me repeat it again. 10% is what happens in your life. And 90% is how you respond to these situations. So let's take this little forward. When basically, I guess I have, told you the story of it's all for the best. The king's story who died and who told his son that you have to have this wise man as your wise man, right? I have told that story. In case you have missed it, you can check the recording. So let's take a situation that somebody has, somebody dashed my car when it was in the parking lot, or when I was driving in the middle of the road, some basically auto rickshaw dashed my car, and that auto rickshaw went away. Now, the thing is that how am I going to respond to this situation? I may basically say, grudge, I may complain, I may do everything, to spoil my day. But the person who has banged it, the rickshaw person or any other person, is probably enjoying. And by doing all this, I am going to spoil other people's mood as well. Or what I can do is, I can tell it's all for the best. Thank God, basically, only the car was dashed. Nobody got hurt. I was not hurt, or there was no family inside. This will help me to have a control on the situation. Similarly, let me give one more example. Before the webinar started, I had my gadgets was giving problems. I had my mobile which was giving problem. My laptop software was not working. My daughter's my daughter's laptop was not working. Okay, and it was coming 1 week after the other, 1 week after the other, 1 week after the other. There were some problems. Now I could have said, why me just before the webinar? Or I could say, it's all for the best that it happened before the webinar. If it was happening during the webinar, things would have become much worse. So it's all how you respond to that situation. Your mind will accordingly behave. You will accordingly take control of the situations. So let's go further with our presentation now that I have covered it. So just answer basically what is the number one key to success, which is life complicated? Say yes or no. Is life complicated? Yes. Okay, Riddhi says yes. And Yuga says yes. We make it. Okay, Rekha says we make it. No. IK says no, we make it. Okay. So some says yes, some says no. And both are right. Life is how we make it, how we take it. Whether it could be simple or complicated. It is how we basically deal with it. Let's go to the next one. Is English the number one key to success? Yes or no? So, no, okay, fine. So English is definitely not a number one key to success. English is important, probably because it's the international language. And if students who are going abroad, you should have, if you're going to that country, you have to know the language because that is the language that they are going to teach. So English is important, but it is not definitely the number one key to success. Is knowledge the number one key to success? How many of you think that knowledge is number one key to success? Yes, Yuga says yes. Okay. No, Sonali says no. Base, Riddhi, yes. Okay. You know, there are many knowledgeable people in this world that are poor. It's a fact. Google it out. So if knowledge was number one key to success, all these people would have been successful. Knowledge again is important, but it is definitely not a number one key to success. Is goal setting a number one key to success? How many of you think that goal setting is the number one key to success? Yes, Rekha says yes, Yuga says yes. Okay, you know, okay, important. Okay, IK says important. Okay, now understand that doing the New Year resolution, how many of you put basically on the New Year Eve when we set up a New Year resolution? How many of you keep that New Year resolution? Some basically break it within a day, some basically within a week, some maybe within a month. And there would be people definitely who are able to fulfill the goal, but even after fulfilling the goal, they are not able to fulfill the dream. Goal is good, but dreams are bigger. So goal setting is definitely not a number one key to success. I'm talking about number one key, okay? Is inner power a number one key to success? Is inner power a number one key to success? Sonali Singh says yes. Don't know, Yuga says, okay. No, Riddhi says, sure, Gautam Datta says, okay, Pragati says yes, Sairandri, okay. So I know Pragati, I know many of them, so right. So, right, of course, yes, Ibrahim Mirza, okay. So inner power is number one key to success. How many of you have seen the film Maaji? How many of you have seen the film Maaji? The mountain man, I guess that was it, right? Mustafa has seen it. Okay. How many of you have seen the film Maaji? The mountain man. Now, in this movie, the man Maaji loses his wife because he cannot take his wife to the hospital because there is a mountain in between. His wife dies and he decides that he will cut this mountain, make a road so that next time if there is anybody person who is sick, that person will be able to take that person to the hospital because the hospital was on the other side of the mountain. And this is a true story in Bihar. It's a story of Bihar, somewhere close to Gaya. Okay. So imagine if it was you with a hammer and a sickle, and you say, I am going to cut this mountain and make a road. How many of you would have done it? Our conscious mind would have said, stupid you are. This is mountain. You are so small. Is it possible, ideally, that you can cut a mountain and make a road? A conscious mind would say, give up. What are you doing? You are basically going after a false dream. People will laugh at you. You will be your biggest joker. But this guy does it with a hammer and a sickle. He tries to break the stone. He tries to make the way. When people see the result, they join, and that's how the road is made. So one single man, it is not that basically a group of 100 people basically started making, started breaking the mountain. One single man. So it's like Salman Khan, the power of a common man. The power is inner power. It is the inner power which made this Maaji cut the mountain and make a road. A normal conscious mind will not be able to do that. Anybody would give up. Now, let me take the basically second example of Colonel Sanders. Okay, Colonel Sanders, he had his chicken fried recipe, and he tried to sell this recipe to many people, and he was rejected 1009 times. Imagine if this was you, and if one person is going to say no, second person is going to say no, third person is going to say no, fourth person is going to no. So what are you going to say to yourself? Yes, Rekha, Edmund Hillary, the ad said, I will come again and conquer you because as a mountain you can't go, but as a human I can. That's true. So Colonel Sanders, basically, how would have you reacted if so many people would have said no? Would you have gone ahead and said, okay, I am not going to give up? You would have got demotivated. You would have given up. Your logical mind would have said, what are you doing? You are stupid. But a person with inner power, like Colonel Sanders, he did not give up. It is your logical mind will give up. But once things go in your inner power, once basically you decide about it, then everything's become possible, even the impossible. So that's how it says, the impossible says, I am possible. So once you have the inner power, everything becomes possible. So he was rejected 1009 times. And when the recipe was sold, it became famous. It was coined as Kentucky Fried Chicken. And now it is an international brand. What about Milkha Singh? You have seen the movie Milkha Singh. He is called as Flying Singh. What about this guy? He was not born sprinter. He never basically, like Chinese who basically train as a young child, they identify the talent and train. He joined the army at the age of 21. And in the army, he got an opportunity to work for a cross-country race. Okay, so he basically used this opportunity and he once basically, he cross-country race of 400 people running. He came 6th. But once he was handpicked, he never looked back. He won gold in the 400 meters Commonwealth Games. He is the first, basically, first Indian to win gold in the Commonwealth. He is the only Indian till now to win gold in Commonwealth as well in the Asian Games. So that's how inner power works. Once basically you get an opportunity, you are able to make it. You use it. Now, how to bring this inner power? By conditioning, by body. When you see cricketers, they go into the ground, they basically go in the ground with basically jumping, with shaking their body, with running, with moving the bat in the air, so that your body, they give the body the signal that I'm ready. I'm ready to face the ball. I'm ready to play. I'm ready to hit sixes. Communication. These guys always speak to themselves, whether it is weightlifting. Why I'm saying all these things, because these things you can see on television. So at least you know, and you know that it's real. When basically weightlifting, they speak to themselves. They shout, they speak to themselves. Boxing, they speak to themselves. Any sports, cricket, they speak to themselves. So when you are coming, I speak to myself even now. So when I speak to myself, I am developing that. I'm conditioning my body. I'm conditioning my communication. And then finally, I need a story. When all these three comes together, you have the inner power. Now, Sachin Tendulkar, when he was 10 years old, he saw Kapil Dev picking up the World Cup. He got a story. He said, I am going to pick the World Cup one day. And that inner power did not give up till he actually picked the World Cup. That's the power of inner power. So I guess I have taken a little more time today. Thank you for your time. I hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you very much.